let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Start your day with a jolt of energy and no-holds-barred opinions. This is The Rush, where Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bring you bold, unfiltered, and uncensored takes on sports, life, and everything in between. Buckle up, and let's go.
Start your engines up. Let's go racing this morning. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Thursday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the TuneIn app or the Rush Radio Android app, thank you so much. Hello there, YouTubers. Subscribe to the channel right now. Hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Start leaving your comments. And, of course, follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram. The weather moving in. It's moving in Canada. It's moving in Minnesota. It's moving in Nebraska, and it's moving in Iowa. Ross, you've moved under shelter this morning.
Yeah, and I'm just realizing I need the book method. I need to sit higher.
You look. Like
I have several.
I kind of like it. You know what I kind of like it is that you can see the beach behind you as you have this picturesque view of the lake.
That's beautiful.
This might be the best view you've had all week long. You see,
you know where I am right now? I'm on my front porch of my cabin. This is the view that when Eli and I step out of the front door, this is what we look at every morning.
And again, the product placement is spectacular. You have the Big Sky granola behind you. You have the Core Power, and then you have the beer. So the Old Tavern,
Tavern, which has been a hit on the island.
Is it raining up there right now,
dude? We had the thunder. I mean, probably not the same probably not the same thunderstorm that you guys are dealing with right now, apparently, because I saw some of the guys in the chat say, like Ross said, man, I'm usually not this early of a riser, but this thunderstorm made for an early alarm. We had a massive thunderstorm roll through last night. Big boomers. I think it dropped some hail, really heavy rain. And so, yeah, but great sleeping in that weather.
See, this was the weird thing. So we had in Omaha, we had a thunderstorm roll through right around 2 a.m. I never wake up during a thunderstorm. I've got those triple pane windows. All of a sudden, the wind was so ferocious that it was smacking. I thought it was hailing outside. I'm like, I got to get up and see if it's hailing. It was just like straight line winds and the rain coming into the window. And that was at 2 a.m. And unfortunately, I could not fall back asleep after that. And so I think everything that was in Omaha is now starting to hit central Iowa. And our good buddy Pat, who you and I know, is going fishing in South Dakota today. I was sharing all your pictures yesterday with Pat. And I know they're getting like strong winds and rain up in South Dakota. And he's like, it just makes for miserable fishing. Not because he goes, it's just the choppiness of the lake.
It's the wind. Yes. Every fisherman will tell you it's not cold, it's not rain. It's the wind that will keep you off the lake. And yesterday it got windy yesterday, but Travis, the first day of wind is weird because it doesn't really start to push up a lake like this. And what I mean is the wind doesn't cut across the water and all of a sudden you've got a big wave. What causes those big waves is that long, steady breeze literally pushes the lake on the surface of the lake. Well, then the lake has to find level, and it's sloshing basically back and forth, causing those great big waves, and it gets bad. And so yesterday when we got in, it was getting rough, and it blew pretty hard all night. I'm surprised we aren't seeing it's really not that bad out as I'm looking at it. It's not that rough out. Luckily.
And I'm looking at the trees behind you, and it doesn't look like the wind's blowing that heavy right now.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, crossing my fingers for you that everything kind of blew through, and you're going to have a nice day on the lake today.
That'd be great. Great.
Are you waking everybody up in your cat? If you're, I got
Eli. No. Here's the So through I might be waking Eli up right now. I should probably shut the door. The last couple of days, I've done it at what's called Rock Point. So This goes around to the, on a bend, and that's where I had been, was out on that, way out there on that point over there.
Okay.
And so today when I got out there, the wind is howling coming in from the south. And I got out there, I'm like, this is not going to be a good day to sit. This is not be a good spot to sit here and try to be on the radio. So I disconnected everything, picked it all up, carried it over here, and now we're here. Camera's not working great. Got to get so it was kind of a last minute setup.
So we fine.
All right.
You look fine. You look fine. All I care about is how you sound. As long as people can hear you, that's the number one thing.
And the miracle of the Starlink right there. Miracle of Starlink. Thank God.
Now, and the good news is, if they are watching on YouTube, they can easily see your product placement, which is really the most important thing. I mean, that's the most important thing is the product placement. Of course, you've got the Old Tavern there coming up at 7:30 today. Bruno's going to be hopping on with us. He's probably going to be a little bit jealous because he's gone on this trip with you several times, or is it several, or is it one or two? I'm trying to think.
I feel like Bruno came up here 4 or 5 years in a row, something like that. Yeah. It was several. I mean, enough that people ask about him. You know what I mean? The guides have been like, "Hey, where's Brunoski?"
They put a ski on everything. Is it
not everything, but Brunoski definitely took over for a while. Then he was named Hemingway. They called his real name. Everybody on the island refers to Bruno as Hemingway.
I can see that.
Yeah. A little bit eccentric.
I can definitely see that.
Yep. Smart guy, eccentric, goofy dresser,
deep thinker.
Yeah.
Philosopher. The only thing he needs is like a manual typewriter now, and he can just sit up there and write his next novel.
You know what, Bruno? You know what move? We talked about this last week. You know what move Bruno could pull off? We talked about how you have to have a special look for the bow tie. You have to have a special look for, certain hats. The newsboy cap. You've got one. You can pull off the little newsboy cap, or whatever that thing's called, the Boston Scully. Bruno could pull off the old Sherlock Holmes pipe.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. With that brewer's beard.
Oh, dude.
And just kind of
can you light the pipe with the beer? Aren't we talking about flame? Isn't there hazards here?
Well, possibly, but if the pipe's big enough, and Ray would know this better because he lights the pipe a lot more than we do. But I would think if you went right above the bowl and you were careful, that would keep it out of the facial hair.
Here's another great thing about Bruno. Did you know Bruno's a black belt?
Hold on, because you went through this before. Is he still a black belt?
No. This is one of the reasons I know this, because I've heard him have conversations where he'll say, "I used to be a black belt." And people are like, "Oh, you can still say," that then the whole thing starts. But no, I think I shouldn't say that for sure. I'm pretty sure.
Well, what we can do? We can ask him at 7:30. Are you a black belt? And he'll say, "Well, I was a black belt, but now I'm probably a yellow belt, or I might be even back down to a white belt." And because I'm not a martial arts guy, how many different belts are there? Because they're kind of like merit badges in Boy Scouts, right? I guess it's Scouting America now. Is it white belt, brown belt, yellow belt, black belt?
No freaking clue. No clue.
Might have to get Lance Farrell on here to go through the stages.
Right, exactly.
Of progression when it comes to
I'm sure that'd be the first conversation he'd want to
have. Speaking of putting ski on the last part of your name, Kristen Stepinski is going to join us at 7:00. You're probably going, "Who's Kristen Stepinski?" Well, she's the general manager of the IndyCar race weekend at Newton, and this is the IndyCar weekend at the Iowa Speedway. And tomorrow's going to be a free Friday, so free admission for you and the kids. You've got a race on Saturday, a race on Sunday. And what makes the Iowa Speedway so special, Ross, is that this is the only doubleheader weekend on the IndyCar circuit. So you have a race an NTT race on Saturday. You have an NTT race on Sunday. Both are going to be on Fox. And, they've gotten away from the big concerts and stuff. They've just kind of focused in on the racing. 80,000 people were there last year. 45% of those from out of state, which I think is impressive. That shows you the amount of tourism that race can bring in. So they're doing something new this year, and we'll get into with Kristen, is that they're partnering with the We Will Collective and the Swarm. So yeah, I think Joshua Jefferson from Iowa State is the Grand Marshal on Saturday. Jay Higgins is the Grand Marshal on Sunday, and that's a smart play. You bring your famous college athletes in as you get closer to the athletic season getting ready to start. Student athletes alone will bring people to track because people want to meet their favorite stars. I think it's a pretty good play. Plus, they get to raise money for each collective.
Exactly. The one thing that and again, we'll ask her about how this all came about and how these necessarily these guys or gals were picked. But Jay Higgins being a part of it was kind of like, I think that's cool. I think it's super cool. I love Jay Higgins. I thought it would just be active players, but so I didn't. I wonder how that came about. That he was, because he's the Grand Marshal of the Hawkeye Day on Saturday, right? Did I read that right?
Sunday, yes.
On Sunday. I'm sorry, Sunday.
Yes.
Saturdays is the Cyclone Day.
Yep.
Is it Jefferson? That's the
Joshua Jefferson is the Grand Marshal. Yeah. I think it'd be fun to be a Grand Marshal at a big race like that, right? You get on the pace car, go around the track.
I get to sit on the back seat of a convertible, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what it is.
Right.
And hopefully,
I don't need a throne. I just want that. I guess, is this some sort of like homecoming king and queen experience that we're missing?
Possibly.
Like what I just described is a homecoming king.
You did
sitting in the back of a Corvette, waving at the grandstand as they drive by. Yeah.
And I think you got to do the king wave where you don't wave, you do the king wave where you just go back and forth like that.
If you're a Grand Marshal, can you just walk the parade, politician style, shaking hands?
Seeing all the kids, all the babies going over there and like holding them, shaking them, and saying, "Hey, you're cute."
Or as the Grand Marshal, are you required to be on some sort of float? What would you? So let me ask you this: in your vision, where you're a Grand Marshal of a parade, which I do agree that's a dream. What does it look like?
To me, you are in a convertible with white leather interior because it just stands out.
Yeah. Yes.
And you've got the cover over covering where the hood goes into the trunk, and you're sitting, and all you're doing is sitting on top of that back seat, and you're looking left and right, and you're just pointing at people,
shooting finger guns, giving the waves.
Yeah, I mean it's very simple, right? But I've never been honored that way. I've never been a Grand Marshal in a parade. I've been a judge for a parade. I've never been a Grand Marshal.
You know what we should do? We should throw our own parade and be the Grand Marshals.
Nobody would come to our parade
if we did something. Now, listen, this is one of these ideas that it's just going to be an idea. We're never going to do it, but it's fun to think about.
It is very fun to think about.
They have a solstice parade in Santa Barbara, California. Okay. And it is like it's like a mini version of Burning Man. Every single float, there's no the purpose of the thing is, hey, it's the longest day of the year. Let's have a parade. So we're gonna do a parade up the hill, and the only rule is there's no powering it. It has to be human powered. You have to pedal it or push it or pull it. It has to be human powered, right?
Okay,
that's the only thing. They make crazy floats, crazy fun, wild floats. And then the Grand Marshal is just some local person that they pick that, won a city council race or something. So we could do that. We could be like, hey, let's come up with something really fun and wild, and we'll just have a little short parade. And oh, by the way, Grand Marshal is the first year. We pulled it out of a bucket. It's Travis and Ross from the Rush. Who's Travis? Oh, I'm Ross. Travis. Hey, that's how and then we're the Grand Marshals of a parade, and then that goes on the resume.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I can put that on my LinkedIn profile. Grand Marshal of the first annual Rush with Travis and Ross parade.
Yeah.
You're a big
Grand,
idea guy. You
don't have to say grand. You don't have to tell them which parade you were a grand marshal of.
Okay.
And the bigger and then we could have it in Des Moines, and then that way you could say grand marshal of parade in Des Moines in 2026.
Maybe a way to get people to go to said parade was we need to look at the Guinness Book of World Records and find out what the shortest parade in history is, and like go one city block.
Oh, it'd be less than that. I bet people have done. I bet I'm guessing Guinness doesn't even acknowledge it anymore because people started doing ridiculous stuff like having a 1-inch parade.
What constitutes a parade? Is it people in line?
These are the good questions. I'm glad we're hitting these. I really am. These are the fun things I like to talk about. I don't know what makes a parade. Do you have to have a certain number of vehicles? Do you have to all go in the same direction? Does there have to be a theme?
Do you have to have tractors? Do you have to have horses? Do you have to have the Shriners and the tiny cars?
Got it.
Those are the burning questions. Do you have to have classic cars?
What are the other things that we see? Yeah, the politicians, there's usually a local marching band. There's always something I can't figure out. You know what I mean?
I mean, the parades I go to, and I don't go to many parades anymore. I used to when I was younger. I always used to march in the Children's Day parade in Manning, Iowa. They had a Children's Day every year, and it was a big carnival, and it was a big celebration during the summer. So when I was a kid, that's what I did. I was staying with my grandma and grandpa. I'd march in the Children's Day parade. When I was in high school, I was part of the homecoming court at Tri-Center Neola.
Look at you.
Yeah. I got to sit on a trailer that was pulled by a tractor.
I mean, dude, you were right there. That's the minor leagues of being a grand marshal. That's you were in the AAA there.
You think so?
You're Moonlight Graham, dude. You're the Moonlight Graham of grand marshals. You were on the homecoming court in high school, but you weren't homecoming king.
No, I wasn't homecoming king. I wasn't that popular. I was popular enough to get on the homecoming court. I just wasn't popular enough to be king, and I wasn't even popular enough to be prince. I didn't even get like first runner up.
The closest I dated the prom queen and took a couple of homecoming queens to dances. So that's the closest I came. I was the bat boy. You're out there getting at bats.
But I'm striking out. Led the Western Iowa Conference in interceptions, and then struck out in the homecoming.
This should be an important clarification here. As a quarterback, I led the conference in interceptions. Sounds different than I led the conference in interceptions thrown. But I like the way listen. It's a resume. We're putting together resumes here, and I think that's a good one to put on there. Led the conference in interceptions. Does sound like you just leave it at that.
So if we were going to have the Rush Parade, and what I think we would need horses, we would need tractors. You can't have a parade without a fire truck, right? I mean, you need a fire truck that's freshly washed and the sirens going. You need kids with bicycles.
Yeah, but I feel like this is where we get in trouble. Because see, the kids with bikes is now all of a sudden it turns into 2015 again, and everybody's suing everybody. I don't want to get sued.
That's true.
People start throwing candy, and then what happens is the children start to fight for the candy. And they run out in front of the vehicles. The vehicles aren't paying attention because they're in a parade. They're looking out at the people waving. They're doing the finger guns.
Yeah, but we have an advantage here at the Rush Radio Show, and we have lawyers that listen to the show.
Yeah.
And we could ask them for pro bono work to draft up said waiver that they sign and say,
welcome to our parade. Sign the waiver. Nothing says fun like sign a waiver before you watch a parade. Actually, it might draw intrigue. If we say The only parade in America where a waiver is required to attend.
I like it.
Come see Slipknot T-shirts.
Oh, see, big idea thinking. This is what happens when we don't have a pre-show meeting. Ross and I did not speak at all before the show because
no, you don't come on. These this is that instinctual genius that we're always talking about.
Yeah.
Picasso.
Yeah.
We just started putting the paintbrush on the thing, and it was like, hey, look at that, Picasso.
And the reason we can do this is it's like people can make up their own days, right? The Reverend Ray he's been gearing up for today for all week long. Today is 710 day, Ross. Did you know it was 710 day? I always thought 420 was the big day with potheads. 710 day apparently is another big day with the potheads.
Do you know what that means? 710 day?
When you reverse 710, it looks like oil. And so they celebrate cannabis oil here.
Oh my God.
So it's a celebration of cannabis oil. I didn't even know about this till earlier in the week. Like Monday, Ray's like doing the countdown. Thursday, 7:10. Thursday, 7:10. I'm like, what is 7:10? And then, you do the Google search. You're like, oh, it has to do with weed. I should have known it has to do with weed or cannabis or whatever when Ray was posting about it. But I learned something new. I'm like, I go, well, where does the oil come in? And they're like, well, if you turn the thing around, reverse 710, it's oil, and it's a good reason to celebrate cannabis oil.
I'm just going to pretend the Starlink froze.
It didn't freeze. You
can still see the lake lapping behind me as I.
Your amazement is infectious.
I love Ray. Stoners are incredibly creative people.
We're not stoners. We just came up with a really creative idea. Just saying.
I think that's fun. 710. I didn't know. That's a new one to me. Cool. Good, because it gives Ray a chance to unwind and maybe even partake today. You know what I mean? He's been needing a reason to unwind a bit.
I mean, he was posted. I get on this morning, and the first post was already at 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, damn, Ray. He just sits there with the upcoming screen and getting ready to go, waiting for the countdown music to kick in.
Thanks, Rev. Glad to have you, man. It's very cool.
You the man, Rev. Again, Kristen Stupinski joining us at 7:00, and Bruno's going to be here at 7:30. We'll let you know when the Rush Parade takes place. Last week, it just has to be some random day, though. It can't be around the state fair, can't be around anything else. It's just got to be, they're having a parade. The problem with parades, though, Ross, you got to take out permits. You got to plan. We can get, we'll have to call Paul Parizek and say, we're going to need some police. And who's going to pay that overtime?
What if maybe this is all part of the sales pitch to me? The Scofflaw Parade. The only non-permitted parade in Des Moines. Sign your waiver online.
Travis and Ross riding in the blue Cadillac CT6 from Willis Automotive. We have all our sponsors behind us. Right behind us is
in
Corey
front of
us.
In front of us.
He's like shooting fumigator up in the air. He's like, and that's the smoke coming out.
But he doesn't
fumigate.
Dropping
DDT on everybody.
Yeah, he doesn't fumigate. The other idea I had was way worse.
What was that?
Because the other idea that just popped into my head was, well, he really likes to just trap the animals and release them. You know what I mean? And so what he could do is like pull a raccoon trap, pull a raccoon trap and with candy in it. And then kids could wait, we don't want to trap kids. We don't want to trap. That's where in that half second, that entire idea went through my head of Corey could trap kids in a parade. And then, oh no.
Let's just say he's got his Bats and Bugs pickup truck that you see in the commercial, and he's pulling a trailer, and he's just got traps that are full of raccoons and squirrels. Instead of throwing out candy, he just lifts up the traps, and the coons just take out and rush into the crowd.
He releases critters into the crowd as we go. That's what the waivers are for. Yes. We knew we'd have to have waivers.
Yes. The great critter release.
What's that?
The great critter release from bats and bugs.
And skunks. One lucky watcher might get sprayed by a skunk.
So we're riding in a Willis automobile. Corey's releasing critters. Bruno's handing out beers instead of candy. Oh, we've got everything here. Got everything. Then we followed up with Atlantic Coca-Cola bottling, just giving everybody core power or body armor.
That was a fun image in my head of Corey from Bats and Bugs leading the parade with a giant fumigator.
And then the tail end of the parade, as he gets a special waiver, he's going to need a permit for this. But it's Wade from the Iowa Fireworks Farm with a low boy with a bunch of rabbit hole cakes on the back, and just lets him off. And it's just fireworks going off the whole time.
while people are running from skunks and squirrels.
Think we'd make the news? I think we'd make the news. Just saying. Hey, did you know you could buy Rush gear? That's right. Just go to therushradio.com, click on the merch tab, and start representing the Rush Radio Show out and about. You can get yourself a T-shirt, get yourself a sweatshirt, get yourself a hat. You can get a trucker's hat, a dad hat. If you want to sleep with us, you can get yourself a throw pillow, all sorts of good stuff by going to therushradio.com, click on the merch tab, and start wearing your Rush Radio shirt today. I know I checked my shipping yesterday. My gear's in transit and should be here like today or tomorrow, and looking forward to representing the Rush myself. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
The Royal Mile, where everyone's a wee bit British. The Royal Mile is downtown Des Moines' living room with classic pub favourites. Pair them with a glass of whiskey or an expertly poured Guinness. It's bloody brilliant. The Royal Mile, a proper British pub.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Brennan Santone here with Willis Cadillac. It is officially summer. Behind me I have a beautiful CT5 Blackwing with over 600 horsepower and drift metallic. It is available on our show floor. We also have EV Conquest on all of our EV models. We do have some lease loyalty just for owning a 2012 or newer Cadillac as well. And also we have gotten several new CT4s and 5s in. Come check out this summer what we got going on over our Clive location, or check us out at williscadillac.com.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along. We're here till 8 o'clock today. Got a busy Thursday coming up for you. Of course, we mentioned Bruno's going to be joining us at 7:30, and Kristen Stupinski from the IndyCar race, IndyCar weekend at the Iowa Speedway. Going to be in right around 7 o'clock. Lots of good ideas coming in for the Rush Radio Parade. From squirrel suits to phone booths. All sorts of good stuff. Ross, I know you were on the boat yesterday, and a lot of people want to know how the fishing was yesterday. Did you get a lot of fish?
Fishing was different yesterday. It not nearly as good as it was Monday and Tuesday. As soon as we got the boat stopped, I had 3 fish in the boat in probably the first 5 minutes on the lake. And we were like, oh, this is going to be a great day. And then I think I caught like 8 on the day, something like that. Did not catch a fish in the afternoon. In fact, we fished exclusively for muskie in the afternoon. And we only saw 4 fish all afternoon among 3 guys fishing. So yesterday's down a lot.
Because they know you're there. They're like, they figured you guys out.
Yeah,
like, okay,
right.
They've been here since, they've been out of this lake since Monday. We know we're not to hang out now. I don't know if fish have like that smart of brains or not.
We're coming for them.
Yeah. You're going to get one. You're going to get
one. We'll hunt them.
The fact that you were on the lake yesterday means you most likely missed the Indiana Fever game against Golden State, which started at 11 o'clock. And I'm just going to let you know you didn't miss much. And it was maybe a disappointing return for Caitlyn Clark as the Fever looked unmotivated. They didn't have much fire to them. They started off playing a fairly fast-paced game, but then it got out of hand. They got within 5 in the second half, but then Golden State just kind of ran away with it, got an 80-61 win. I mean, getting beat by 19 at home on Caitlyn Clark's return, that's and she looked human. You know, I mean, we talk about everything she does that is spectacular, but there was nothing really to write home about. And I always what I like to do is check like every website and see where the story falls. Meaning, is it going to drive clicks? And the fact that it wasn't even on the front page of ESPN.com, it wasn't on the front page. And what I mean, it was farther down. You had to search for it in the other stories. But I'm talking about those stories like Clark's does this. Nothing to be seen, Ross. It was like if she doesn't do anything, it's like don't put it up there because nobody's going to click on it. But I did start yesterday, Ross, a book about Caitlyn Clark. Christine Brennan from the USA Today has written a book called Her Game, and I purchased it on Audible, so I'm listening to it. I got through the introduction. I'm about halfway through the first chapter, so I'm anxious to get through that book and just kind of find out any tidbits about what happened to Caitlyn Clark in that first season in the WNBA. So the book came out, I think, on the 8th. I started reading it yesterday. I'm not reading it. I'm actually just listening to it. But So anytime I get some tidbits out of it, I'll probably bring it to the show to say, hey, did you know this? But one thing we did learn yesterday is that she was never going to be on the Olympic team last year. And the fact that they purposely held a spot for Diana Taurasi as a kind of a going away present, like, hey, you're going to play in your 6th Olympics. We're holding this spot for you.
Incredible.
And Caitlyn Clark never had a chance to make the Olympics. And I know that bothered some people. It bothered Christine Brennan because she was like, here was a world stage where you take the most popular athlete on the planet at this point and you don't include her, which was a missed opportunity to promote basketball. What I thought the big thing was, and this isn't about the game, this is about being prepared. And Christine Brennan makes it perfectly and abundantly clear that the WNBA was not prepared for the star power of Caitlyn Clark. And does that surprise you, Ross, that you see you had a year of buildup. You could see what was happening in the college ranks and the enthusiasm and the excitement behind Caitlyn Clark as a marketer, as an athlete, as a draw. And the WNBA was totally unprepared for her arrival. Does that kind of surprise you? They weren't ready for that?
No. And let me clarify why I'm not surprised that they couldn't handle this, because nobody could have anticipated it. Nobody could have anticipated it at this level. Now, are they to blame for not being able to handle? I mean, they seemed totally ill-equipped to be able to handle a superstar like this. But I would instantly give them that break of, I don't even know how anybody could have anticipated that this thing was going to be this impactful and this big and this amazing. So I can't fault them for not being able to anticipate this thing that nobody anticipated at all. The other thing, though, the missed opportunity back on the Olympics, like we've been having a conversation now for several weeks about how she's injured.
Yeah.
And these lingering injuries. And even when she has played, she has not been that Caitlyn Clark. What's the magic of Caitlyn Clark? She always delivers. What's delivering? It's putting up a bunch of points, playing amazing, hitting those logo threes. If she's not doing those things, like you said, Travis, it's not a story. We'd rather talk about a billion other things, MLB trade rumors, whatever. I told you, for the last couple of years, sitting on this island, 95% men on this island, right?
Mm-hmm.
A few years ago, man, things changed. We went from sitting in that lodge having conversations about the NFL and college football to guys breaking down the WNBA, breaking down the rosters of the teams, where women were being traded to. And I called you 2 different years in a row and said, dude, something weird's happening. Something weird is happening. The WNBA is literally getting way more talk up here than any other sport. They're really, yesterday we were up. I mean, it's been beautiful. So most of us have not been in the lodge together. We've kind of been hanging out outside. But yesterday when we were together right after fishing, the guys were talking MLB trade rumors. I don't remember a conversation yesterday. Maybe there was one. I was working up there, so I was out of the conversation a bit, but I don't remember the conversation about Caitlyn. And like, to your point, they played yesterday during the day. And guys were sitting up there on their phones looking at the internet. And I don't remember a single time somebody said, hey guys, did anybody see the fever thing? So if she's not performing, okay. And I'm doing all this because I want to talk about the Olympic thing of they missed the opportunity with the Olympics. They ran her ragged.
True.
She had played for like 14 straight months or whatever it was leading up to the Olympics, and then came out of the Olympics and did what the WNBA needed her to do. I would say, had they pushed her into the Olympics or put her on that Olympic team and gotten another month of play out of her, you're right, it would have squeezed that lemon even more, and you'd have got more juice out of it. It would have dried up quicker. She might not have had the WNBA season she had last year. This injury stuff might have started to creep up. before the end of last season. You might not have gotten a full season of Caitlyn Clark in the WNBA because we don't have 2 full seasons. It's to a point now where she had missed enough games and it's affected her play enough that we will have to say, if she ever returns to that original form, we'll have to go back and say, oh, that injury-riddled sophomore campaign.
It's interesting that, as I started this book, and Christine Brennan kind of referred to what you did 2 years ago, that she had male colleagues, male family members texting her, asking her about Caitlyn Clark. She goes, that's never happened before. She goes, sports is a sexist. It's a sexist thing, right? I mean, we're probably drawn to the NFL, the NBA, men's college basketball more than we have been women's sports. And she's like, I was getting text and conversations about Caitlyn Clark. Then I'm watching this game as I'm kind of listening to this book, and I'm watching this game, and she's very human in this, right? She's not doing anything spectacular. And that thought crossed my mind is, what happens if she just plateaus? What happens if she just evens out and is not able to live up to
Trav, I said that
she set?
I said that to you a couple weeks ago when she started struggling. I said, hey, what if? Let's just play the what if game. What if she doesn't? This is the what if. If she doesn't have great games, if she doesn't have a big performance, it does not show up. I didn't hear a word about it till you brought it up. Travis, and I will be honest with you, when I woke up this morning and I had the email from you, and the very first thing in the rundown was I saw the first WNBA. It kind of, there's a moment I'm like, kind of over it. And I'm not, and I want you, I want every day for you to talk about the things that are interesting to you. I never reached that plateau. The Caitlyn Clark, the hype and the WNBA and the women's basketball train. Some people still think it's going this direction. I kind of did one of these. Mine was a low, slow curve, and now I'm kind of out of it. I'm like, okay, I'm on to something else, and that was
and I think the injuries play a part of it, right? When you're out of sight, you're kind of out of mind, and then when you come back, and it's like, okay, well, you had 10 points, you had 6 assists, you had 4 turnovers. You kind of go, okay, it was an average. It wasn't even an average game. It was just like, okay, you blended in with everybody else on the court, and you did nothing to separate yourself from the pack. And there's no doubt about the marketing machine, but it just crossed my mind because this book even adds more pressure to that larger than life status and it shows you the pressure she's under to maintain now you kind of go, God, can't imagine what Tiger Woods went through. Can't imagine what Michael Jordan was going through when the weight of the world of carrying a league is on your shoulders, because it's not going to go away right away.
Ross in the chat said that Caitlyn is Tiger Woods. If Tiger hadn't dominated for so long, golf wouldn't be where it is. He says it would be the WNBA, but golf would not be where it is, and Tiger's thing would not have been so meteoric if he hadn't been consistent. We have talked about some of this stuff previously, right? The amazing part of her was handling the pressure and always delivering. And I'm not saying she's not handling the pressure. That's not it. What I am saying is she's got to deliver. If it's not special, it's not special.
And you just said something that was intriguing to me, and golf would not be where it is. Is golf better today or more popular today than when Tiger was at the top of his game? And I would say no, because LIV, and I'm not going to get into a LIV PGA discussion, but what I'm saying is when Tiger was at his height, LIV could have never broke off and done what it did because Tiger was
the king. Yeah,
it was the king.
If Tiger would have said, you don't go, nobody would have gone.
No.
Why? Now, let's, again, the best question's always why. Why would that have been, and why did that change? And there's the real easy answer is this: the money. Tiger controlled all the purse strings at that time.
Yep.
Could the Saudis have come in and said, hey, Davis Love III, come be the face of LIV Golf? We all would have said, go ahead. Once Tiger's gone and you cut the head off the snake, now you get Phil Mickelson. Whoa, we just divided things up. make a run.
I mean, even in golf today, and Tiger's near 50, it's when's Tiger going to play again, right?
Yeah.
And
still,
it's like, oh, Tiger's gonna tee off today, right? And you're like, okay, he's not going to win. It doesn't matter. It's Tiger friggin' Woods.
Dude,
if Michael Jordan come out and said, well, I'm going to play one more game, you know how many people would show up for the Michael Jordan game, even at like 60?
To watch him shoot baskets. If Michael Jordan said, I'm going to charge $20 for people to come to Chapel Hill, and I'm just going to fire up some jumpers for 20 minutes, there'd be a line. There'd be a line to see that. Tiger Woods would be the same way. If Tiger Woods sent out a thing that said, I'm going to be at the driving range up, the Des Moines driving range up there between Des Moines and Ankeny. I'll be there at 2:00 today. Think of what would happen. The highway patrol would have to be called.
There would be a traffic jam. People are like, what's going on today?
Yeah.
Tiger's at the driving range.
Yep. And there's maybe 5 athletes on the planet that could do that. And Caitlyn Clark is right. And S. Williams says, man, she's coming off an injury. You're right. That is the first part of the conversation. She is coming off an injury. I hate to be this crass and crude and rude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And S. Williams, you're right in that a lot of fans of hers and like astute basketball people will go, give this time. And by the way, she's not going to always make every shot. Here's the unfair part. That's what people are expecting. The expectations are here. This is a disappointment. The expectations are on a scale of 1 to 10. It's 9.5 every time out. 9.5. You can have a little attitude. You can make some turnovers, but hit those damn shots.
Yeah. You're not wrong when it comes to expectations.
And if she has a game that rates as a 7, first of all, that's not a headline maker. That's not going to be on ESPN if it's like Caitlyn Clark had decent game. Doesn't do it. I think that there's a lingering injury. I think that there is something that we probably don't know about, or it's just that simple of, I always talk about Occam's razor. Do you know what that is, Travis?
Explain it. You've talked about it before, but I forget.
Basically, it's the answer to your problem is the simplest solution. Whatever the simplest answer is, that's usually what the answer is. And the simplest thing here is she is worn down. She has lingering injuries that she can't get recovered from because she's really competitive. She's got $1 billion industry that's depending on her being out there and being great. The pressure is starting to build. When she doesn't deliver a few times, maybe it wears on her a little more. I think it's fair because, again, we did the same thing with Tiger Woods many, many times where we said, oh, my gosh, what if he's done? And then, of course, he wasn't. And then we go, oh, my gosh, what if he's done? And then he wasn't. And he came back and he showed everybody that he was still the greatest on the planet. That Caitlyn Clark's going to have this ride. We're right now on this thing of, so she's human?
Well, and Nathan points out is that when you bring in a coach like Stephanie White, they went out in free agency. They were supposed to build this championship level caliber team. And so not only did the expectations of Caitlyn Clark rise, the expectations of the team also rose. And now they're sitting there with a losing record. They have a losing record at home. And that's where people go, what is this all about? You mentioned Occam's razor, and that is the problem to your solution is usually the easiest answer. Libby Dunn wanted to buy an apartment in New York City. She was going to pay cash, Ross, at $1.59 million for said apartment. Now, this apartment was pretty special in the fact that it is Babe Ruth's old apartment. He lived in the apartment from 1920 to 1940. So her and Paul Skeens are getting ready, and she's going to buy it herself, but Paul was a part of it. They find this apartment. It's Babe Ruth's. She's a cash buyer at $1.59 million. She's ready to get the keys, and then a co-op board at the building doesn't vote her in. They say she cannot buy said apartment. Now, this is a real estate question for you. I know HOAs have a lot of power. I don't know if you've sold a condo where they have a co-op board where they approve. This is like a Seinfeld-ish episode, right? It's bizarre. Well, we got to vote on whether we want this person to live here or not. It's
okay,
bizarre.
so yes, I have helped a person buy a property in an HOA where they had to meet an approval, but it was not like it wasn't board approval. It had nothing to do with their personality. It was simply like a financial qualifier that they had to meet. Which is, again, I've learned a lot about HOAs in these last couple of years, man. That's probably a smart thing because buying into an HOA is buying a part of a larger corporation of sorts. You're buying into this much bigger property. You're kind of doing it for all sorts of reasons. There's a lot of value of being in an HOA. It's not for everybody. Some people hate them, and if you hate them, they're not for you. There are some of them, Travis, I've helped buy where that's the case. It's like, hey, cool that you guys agreed to this deal. We need to make sure that person is legitimate before we let them in our group. And it doesn't take, I've never had it happen where they came back and said, hey, that's not going to fly. And I've never heard of it. So they usually, once you've got your pre-approvals for the offer, I would feel like if the realtor's done his job up to that point, you're going to be in good shape. But so denying them, was there a reason?
No, she went on her TikTok yesterday. She goes, they never gave me a reason why. I was ready to I was 2 days away from getting the keys or 3 days away from getting the keys. I'm a cash buyer. And I just got word that, hey, the co-op did not approve me.
And being a cash buyer in New York City at $1.5 million doesn't make you exclusive.
No, but
right. So
it is Libby Dunn, right? And it could be we just don't want a social media influencer here. What is that going to bring to if you're sitting there hey, we live a peaceful life here.
Yeah.
We don't need paparazzi around here. We don't need a bunch of people just lingering around. That probably comes into play.
Dude,
and it's probably the first time Libby Dunn's ever been told no.
There was a great article about this famous musician was moving to the south side of Grand. Des Moines Register went out and talked to a bunch of people. They'd purchased the house. They were going to be moving. So the Des Moines Register went out. What's up, Steve? Went out and met a bunch of the neighbors and said, hey, you're going to be neighbors with a famous musician. And the article is amazing. It's like, oh my gosh. I hope it's a violinist. I hope it's some famous pianist and we get to, listen to the beautiful sounds of this Juliet trained musician. It was Corey Taylor from Slipknot. And all the neighbors were like, oh, I'm so elated. I hope it's Yo-Yo Ma. I hope it's you. Did Yo-Yo Ma buy a house on the south side of Grand? No. Have you ever heard of the Maggots? It's great. It's great.
I mean,
Juilliard. Juilliard. Yeah.
But all I could think of is like a Seinfeld episode where you're like, you have Libby Dunn, who's harmless, right? She's famous, she's popular, but it's not like she's screwed up in her social media ways in any way. And you're like, really? You're telling me no?
Well, again, let me just throw some things out here. And we're talking about $1.5 million, which is a weird number in real estate because that means a lot to us. Any of our listeners right now, anybody that's going to download this is going to hear this and go, most are going to go $1.5 million for a condo? That's nothing in New York City.
No.
So this very well could be in a complex where one of those other HOA owners is a billionaire who doesn't want anything like this. They want people looking through the records of the building, doesn't want people going, nothing. So he or she has said, this is one we're going to deny, guys. We don't want this. And we don't need their $1.5 million. And that's a very real thing. People would say, we don't want their $1.5 million.
It would be hard not to take it personal, right? Because you're like, hey, I just want to live. I want to have a nice place to live. I want to live in the city. I've done everything right. I've made money. And then you get the sorry. I mean, her and Paul Skeens had already hired like an interior decorator. She's like, I didn't want to bring my furniture from college. That would have been, I just wanted to start new. And here's the hard part. And you've probably been in this in the real estate world. The realtor's telling her the whole time, and she brought this up, that, it's looking good. Don't worry about it. This is just a formality. And you think it's a formality, and then you're like, what the hell just happened? So
the telephone game, the communication is obviously what broke down there somewhere along the line. Somebody was not being honest, or somebody was not. It could be the realtor was afraid to make a bad phone call and say, hey, they're checking India and this might go south. I want to just share the good news with my people. Now, Travis, and a lot of times I handle a lot of phone calls and stuff like that my clients never know about. You know what I mean? Because people do take things personally. Like it's when you said it's hard to not take this personally, isn't it? Everybody takes things personally.
I would.
It's I wanted $200,000 for my house. They're offering me $190,000. I take that personally.
Turn the deal down. I'm not taking that deal.
Yeah, and tell them never to write an offer and to lose my number. You don't call back to the agent and go, hey, by the way, he's really insulted and he wants you guys to lose his number and he doesn't want you to write an offer. You call the other agent and you go, hey, my client says that offer is not quite good enough. Unless your client says, tell them I don't want to deal with them anymore. Then you got to call him and go, hey, he was insulted by that low offer. But you see what I'm saying? Like, you've got to deal with you can't just do the copy paste thing where you're like, oh, they said this. Oh, they said that. Oh, they said that. Then you're not an agent. You're just playing the telephone game and probably screwing it up, not relaying the information in the correct way with the correct context and all that stuff. So that's what part of what you just explained there about Libby Dunn saying, my agent told me everything was going great. Maybe your agent was working behind the scenes on stuff that you don't know about. Maybe the other agent was lying to your agent. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot happening there. But the thing of like, I already hired an interior decorator. Well, that was stupid. That was stupid. You don't own the place yet. You don't hire an interior decorator until, if you want to go in and do measurements and do stuff like that, probably, here's the other thing, with $1.5 million, you could have found that stuff.
Probably. I'm just imagining this co-op board sitting around. Libby Dunn, yay or nay? All in favor? Yeah, they do the Roman thumbs down.
Hold the thumbs out. One guy in the back's like, hey, is Paul going to be here? I'm a big Pirates fan. Big Pirates fan.
If Paul would have been a Yankee or Met, we would have approved this, but we're not going to approve it because he's not a Yankee or Met. 515.
More to it. I would tell you that there's a lot more to something like that. I don't necessarily think that it would be a personal thing about Libby Dunn and Paul Skeens. There's a couple of scenarios that kind of pop into my head of how or why they would say no, or there's just a better fit. What if somebody with, there are more famous people and there are people with more money. And what if one of those people, what if they showed up and said, I'd like to have that place?
And to add to the story, it was Babe Ruth's apartment, which has been verified, and he lived there for 20 years from 1920 to 1940. 515-517-2303. When we come back, Kristen Stupinski from IndyCar scheduled to join us. It is the IndyCar weekend at the Iowa Speedway. So get your engine started on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vent, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
Hey everybody, Mason Miller, sales manager out here at Willis Infinity. We have some great stuff going on this month. Right now you can get $4,000 off a brand new QX80, 2.9% out to 60 months. On top of that, QX60s are doing 1.9 clear out to 60 months, 2.9 at 72, and even an incentivized rate at 4.9 at 84 months. For more information, come see us in our showroom or visit us online at willisinfinity.com.
Largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Happy Thursday, everybody. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com or on the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much for dialing us in this morning. Hello there, YouTubers. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Like this video. Start leaving your comments in the comments section. And, of course, you can follow us on our social media channels, X, Facebook, and Instagram. This weekend at the Iowa Speedway, they're going to be going fast. You're going to hear a lot of... That's what you're going to hear. You drive by Newton on I-80. That's all you're going to hear. That means they're going really, really fast. You have not one, but not two NTT IndyCar races coming up this weekend at the Iowa Speedway. Joining us now on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive, is Kristen Stupinski, who you're running the races. This is your first time on the show. Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, it's my first go around as general manager of our Souk Up IndyCar Race Weekend event here. So ready to go, though. It's Thursday before race week.
Yeah. I mean, and we got Ross here. Ross he's up in Canada right now. He's fishing. So,
Okay.
and he's unique because he doesn't have legs. As you can tell, he doesn't have legs, and therefore he sits really low.
I have a multi-chair setup going here for this. So it's,
I need some help here today, obviously.
It's your first year running these races. I guess what's been the learning curve for you to get ready for the races at Iowa Speedway?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've learned so much over these last few months since I've kind of jumped into this. I mean, I think learning the operational, I come from like a marketing background, a partnerships background, working with, all of our corporate sponsors and stuff at Penske Entertainment and with IndyCar. And so I had the fortunate, ability to just show up at the race weekend and go do what I needed to do and not worry about all of the lifting that has to happen in order for the race to be ready to welcome everybody here like we're going to do today and tomorrow here at Iowa Speedway. So the operational side of things has been the biggest learning curve for me for sure. How many restrooms do we need to have? How many, care centers and cooling stations do we need to have? How are parking lots looking so that fans have the best possible experience, and teams and the people that support the IndyCar series want to make sure it's the best that it possibly can be for folks. And so I've learned a lot about how much is involved involved in that and making sure that happens over the last few
so
months.
many logistics in an event like that. So you're do you spend more time watching racing or watching events to see how, because like with event planners, things go good, things go bad. You can learn from every event. Do you spend as much time watching events and logistics as you do racing now?
I've paid a lot more attention to events and how they run over the last few months. And I've always kind of had a little bit of it, an eye for that just in the back of my head, because we go to so many different things like the Indianapolis 500 where there's, 300,000 people. The logistics there are not what I'm dealing with here, thankfully. But no, I do watch with a little bit of a different eye. Like, I don't know if I'd put that, parking sign there. It needs to be further down the road so that people know before they get, and like the little things like that you just pick up on that you never pay attention to really, or you just, get to show up as a fan. I'm not going to say that, it's ruined going to other events and stuff for me, but you
see it with a different eye. Yeah. You've kind of seen behind the curtain a little bit. The magic's gone a little bit.
Yeah.
You've seen that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. A little bit, but it's
You
been fun.
You mentioned the marketing end of it. I think you're doing something brilliant. We talked about it earlier in the show, and that is you're bringing in Iowa State and Iowa student athletes on Saturday and Sunday. Joshua Jefferson, the Grand Marshal, on Saturday. Jay Higgins, the Grand Marshal, on Sunday. And you're supporting the Swarm. You're supporting the We Will Collective. Obviously, that was was that your idea? Was that marketing brain ticking?
It was a collective idea of a few folks. We tried to do something like that at some of our other events over the years, and it never really kind of came together the way we needed it to. And listen, the first thing I started hearing about when I got here to Iowa is about the Iowa and Iowa State rivalry and how intense that is all throughout the entire state. And so we just thought it was a cool way to lean into that a little bit. Like I know I can't wait to come back in the fall and go to a football game. I want to go to both. I want to get the vibe for both schools and how intense that is. And so when we connected with both of the collectives on either side and had some great conversations around it, we thought, what a better way to support the athletes of everyone's, favorite Iowa University or, Iowa State versus University of Iowa, and support the athletes and also get to and bring them out here to the racetrack, get some autographs from some of them, put them into some of our, Grand Marshal roles like we have every weekend. And then also donate back a little bit to the athletes themselves and support your schools here in Iowa. So we're excited about it.
How were the athletes chosen? Was that something that the We Will and the Swarm kind of decided on?
Yep. Yeah. The collectives both kind of came to us and said, look, here's who we're thinking would be a great fit for this and who, we're super excited about the opportunity when we started talking about it. So we leaned on them to say, hey, tell us who wants to come here and we'll welcome them with open arms for sure.
You mentioned the Grand Marshal roles. Ross and I have never been Grand Marshals. And so what are the key duties?
What are the qualifications?
What are the qualifications?
You go to,
what does a Grand Marshal have to do?
You go to Grand Marshal school?
I don't, there should be more of a like 101 or a, here are the things. And I mean, there are a couple of things like, here are the words you need to say kind of thing. Right. And then, but it's scary, you hope that they get up there and do a good job. But no, I think the biggest thing that a Grand Marshal could bring is just the excitement. That's the, the last moment right before the engines fire here at the track and right before everybody gets all excited to go watch these cars fly around the speedway here. So, no, I think you just got to bring some excitement and a little bit of enunciation, maybe,
So does the Grand Marshal get to say, gentlemen, start your engines?
No, drivers. We say drivers.
You say drivers?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sexist. Wow.
I know. I'm sorry.
So each night, the Saturday night, it's the Cyclones. We talked about this, right? It'll be Joshua Jefferson. He'll be
yep.
Drivers start your engines. And then on Sunday, it's the Hawkeyes and Jay Higgins will be yelling.
Yep.
Drivers start your engines.
Have to bring the energy. We'll see who brings more on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know.
How unique is this weekend? Because I know Iowa is the only double header on the IndyCar schedule. So how unique is it to have two? You have an NTT race on Saturday, an NTT race on Sunday. Do drivers like this? Do they like going back? Day one, day two, and what makes the Iowa Speedway unique when it comes to this?
I think the drivers like it more than they let on. I think they like the idea of it. I will give it to them. It's an intense weekend for them. I mean, they've got to get ready to go. Driving around here is not easy. They're turning 17-second laps. They never let off the gas. Like it's a bit of a slog for these guys. They run 275 laps on Saturday, and Saturday's race is at 4 p.m. Sundays is at noon. So they have less than 24 hours to recover, hydrate, go through all they'll be getting, some will get physical therapy and, treatment and stuff like that after they get rehydrated. And that's a lot of work. And it's a lot, these guys start hydrating days in advance. So especially for a race like Iowa where it's usually extremely hot, and you can get dehydrated pretty quickly if you're not paying attention to it, which these guys, of course, always are. But no, I think they like it. It's basically a double points weekend for them too. So they don't have an opportunity to do that anywhere else on the NTT IndyCar Series schedule. So we love having that here with Sukup IndyCar Race Weekend. And we might, they might get a little tired and complain about it, but I think they actually like it a little more than they let on.
All right, you walk through that entire weekend for the drivers and what the post-weekend kind of feels like and looks like for them. For you and your team, is this one of those things where it goes by in such a flash that Monday you kind of wake up and realize that all of that timing, all of that those months of preparation is now in the rearview mirror? Or is there something is there something you look forward to in the weekend that lets you actually kind of stop for a moment, take it in?
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to two things. I think when gates open and we can, welcome fans and feel like we're ready to go and, start seeing people come in and get to enjoy everything that they're going to see out here this weekend, is something I'm looking forward to. And then it's pretty hard to top the flip of the switch for the engines to turn on and start revving up for both the races on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm looking forward to both of those two things. But yeah, it's been flying by. Even this week, our whole team has been here since Monday, getting ready to go, and it's absolutely flying. I can't believe that it's already Thursday.
Ross and I have a unique relationship with the Iowa Speedway. Is that we've been there basically since it's been built. I mean, when Rusty Wallace built this thing, he put us on his plane, and we flew with Rusty from the Des Moines airport to Newton. That took about 30 seconds.
I was going to say
it was quick. He's like, let's just do a couple laps around the track in the sky. We did that. Then, it hit its financial problems. And, the good thing is IndyCar never gave up on the track. NASCAR is coming to the track now, which is good. But is this unique in the IndyCar race to where, like, you run this race? Is this typical of IndyCar all across the country, or is this how everything's run?
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. I mean, we're, heading into different markets, and, the tracks are typically owned by, whether it's NASCAR or independent entities. And then we come in and we're essentially renting the facility for a couple of weeks to make sure we have enough time to prepare and run our race weekend, and then, tear everything down and put it back to normal for everybody. So we got a pretty quick turnaround for the Iowa Speedway team here, with our race being first this weekend. And then they got about 2 weeks before NASCAR rolls into town. So there'll be a lot to do, but that's pretty standard.
How'd you get into racing? So, because you were with Penske beforehand. It was racing always the goal for you? I'm not stalking, but I was on your LinkedIn profile just to learn a little bit about you.
Oh boy, I'm glad I updated that a few months ago.
You worked at Allstate for a little bit, and Ross, she went to a directional Michigan school. She went to Eastern Michigan. She's a directional Michigan.
That's the green one.
That's the green one. Yes, of the 5 to 6 that exist in Michigan. That's the green one in Ypsilanti, just down the street from University of Michigan.
So how did you, obviously you got a job with Penske, but was this always kind of the end goal? Have you always been a race fan?
I have. So my dad raced my entire life. He was like a mechanical engineer and a performance group kind of situation. So he was always talking about cars. I'm from Detroit, the Metro Detroit area, and it's kind of hard to get away from the automotive industry when you grow up in Detroit. So between that and my dad working in, the automotive industry and having, all kinds of interests in, he's raced pretty much everything under the sun, I think, in his lifetime. And so getting dragged to the racetrack with my dad and my family every other weekend and all over the country to go watch him, I think it just kind of, it was the family business. It almost seemed like, it's like, oh, well, that's what my family does. So I'm going to, look at what this might look like. And when I was going to Eastern Michigan University, my directional school in Michigan, the green one, yes. I was looking at just really good internship programs, and the track in Charlotte has a fantastic motorsports internship program. So I went and I did that, and I was like, well, I'm young. I'll go and try it out, see how it goes, and see if I like it or not. And I really enjoyed the business side of motorsports, and getting to, to be involved in something that, I kind of sort of grew up around or have been involved in a little bit. And so when I graduated from school, also growing up in Detroit, you're usually a Detroit Red Wings fan, or, you're paying attention a little bit to hockey. At least when I was growing up in Detroit, you were. And so I said, I'm either going to try to get a job with the Red Wings or go work in motorsports. And I ended up getting the Red Wings gig for a little while. So that's where I started my career. And then kind of moved along from there. And as you said, I've been with the Penske organization in some way, shape, or form for the last about 9 years or so. So yeah, hockey and motorsports, that's where I ended up for whatever reason. But no, I love it.
All right, help us out. How many directional schools are there in Michigan? You got Eastern Michigan?
Yep, Central, Western, Northern. I think that's it.
Is Northern? I didn't know there was a Northern Michigan. Is that in the UP?
Yeah. I can't remember what city, but it's like Marquette or something like that, maybe. But it's in the UP. Yeah. So I think that's it. There might be another one that I'm not thinking of. But yeah, the big ones are like Central and Western. That's the big rivalry. Everybody, yeah. Central.
Last year, 80,000 people at the Iowa Speedway for this. I'm sure you're hoping to top that. I thought the number that was interesting out of that is that 45% of those came from out of state. So you're making a huge impact when it comes to tourism in the state of Iowa.
We're trying, yeah. That's the one thing about Iowa is we're so centrally located here from, Kansas City to Minneapolis. St. Louis isn't that far. Chicago's not that far. We're in, such a good kind of central location to bring in folks from all over to hopefully, come and enjoy some racing here at Iowa Speedway. So yeah, it's that part has surprised me because some people have told me that we have more of a traveling crowd here than we even do get in Indianapolis, which for the 500, which shocked me. We get all kinds of folks for that one, but I'm not sure if that's an accurate statement. But
it sounds good. It sounds good. We'll believe you.
I'll tell you, the number is when Travis said that number earlier to us, that's a shockingly high number. And that's very cool to think of. Do you know what sort of economic impact that is for Central Iowa or Newton?
I don't know the exact numbers and what, events here bring, but I know that, you see it around town, right? Like even just going into local businesses or we're ordering our, catering orders and stuff for our staff meals and things like that. And people see the logo that I've been wearing for the last couple of weeks running around town here. And everybody just has such wonderful things to say and say, oh, are you guys the IndyCar weekend or the NASCAR weekend, and wanting to know more about the race and what's going on. So you definitely see it and you feel it. And we hear it from, our, general informational inbox, people coming from out of state and wanting to support the race weekend. So that's been really, energizing and fun to see.
Kristen, thanks so much for your time. I know it was short notice. I reached out to Ed yesterday. I said, hey, can we make this happen? And he's like, I'm on it. And he's been really good. He's gotten a couple drivers for us. We had Scott McLaughlin on a couple weeks ago. And
awesome.
We wish you
Scott's the best.
We wish you the most success. It's good for Central Iowa. It's good that track's getting used, and it's great that people show up. So I know you're busy, and we appreciate the time, and let's catch up soon.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Ross. It's good to meet y'all.
Thanks, Kristen. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Kristen Stupinski joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Of course, the race weekend coming up at the Iowa Speedway. Don't forget, free admission tomorrow. So Friday is free admission. Tickets still available for Saturday and Sunday. You got 2 NTT IndyCar races. You won't want to miss those. So, Ross, I wanted to pick your brain about this. Major League Baseball announced yesterday that they are going to use the ABS system, the automatic balls and strikes system, for the All-Star game. And, of course, they used this system during spring training, and I wouldn't be surprised if ABS was going to be part of the regular season next year because like 72%, they polled fans, and like 72% said they really didn't notice anything, thought it was good for the game. And the majority of people were okay with it. And I think they like it because it's fast. Only a pitcher, a catcher, or a hitter can call for a challenge, and it has to be done almost immediately for it to take place. And this is where I want to pick your brain. We pick on baseball a lot, especially when it comes to the blackouts and stuff like that. When it comes to rules, is baseball the best there is at making changes? And hear me out here.
Okay.
In the fact that, the NFL doesn't have an experimental ground to try, and preseason games may count, but baseball can start at low A, try things out, fine-tune it, move it up to double A, fine-tune it. Okay, now it's in triple A, and people start getting used to seeing a pitch clock, an ABS system, and by the time they get it to Major League Baseball, it's almost like you're prepared for it, you know it, and it works. Sometimes in the NFL, like the new kickoff rule, I don't think everybody's enamored with the kickoff rule. I mean, is baseball, when it comes to rule changes, does it get it right more than any other league?
That's a good question. Recently, I'd say the answer to that is yes. Most of the things that they've done here in the last couple of years that you talk about, the pitch clock, the 3-batter rule, this
Shift.
ABS thing, these have all been good advancements for the game. I think football fans feel like football is whittling too much at the rules, right? It's a constant thing. Baseball, I think, to your point, Travis, does a really good job of kind of floating these balloons. We're going to try this thing out. Maybe, Trav, that's one of the great advantages of having a minor league system that the NFL does not have. I mean, the NFL can ask college football to try to implement things and see how it looks, but they don't do that. The NFL does what we've seen. The NFL says, we're going to do a new kickoff thing. Somebody came up with this idea. We're going to give this a whirl. We need to keep guys safer, and here's what we're going to try. I think that's fair to say that baseball has done the best job of like these recent rule changes of getting it right.
Yeah, it's at multiple levels too, because you can start at really low A and go, hey, we're just going to do it down here where nobody's really watching, nobody's paying attention down here. It's not going to affect the overall fan base of baseball. You're like, okay, tweak this. Let's move it up just where more people will see it. And then you try it at spring training, and then you're able to work out the kinks. So it's almost like rule changes that take place were taking place 3, 4, 5 years ago before you're actually implementing it to where, okay, it's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close.
The ABS system is a great example of it. The most recent example of it. I've been down to the iCubs and seen the thing in action. It's awesome. It takes 10 seconds. They did the exact opposite thing that Major League Baseball did when they started to implement replay, which I'm still convinced they implemented trying to make it fail. They had the dumbest, most grandiose display of nonsense. The big fat umpire doing the fake jog back to behind home plate so he could put on it was dumb. This one, they decided, all right, we want to make this thing work. We're going to get fans behind it. Here's how we got to streamline it. We got to get it right. It takes 10 seconds. Tap the helmet. Turn around. Look up at the booth. We're reviewing that last call. Call's been overturned. Crowd applauds. We're back to action. It's great. I see JT saying that exact same thing. It works really well in AAA. Reviews are done in 10 seconds or less. I would absolutely echo that. So I think this is great. And I'm with you. Do it in the All-Star game this year to kind of get fans used to it. And then next year, launch the thing.
Just throw it right in.
Yep.
And like I said, because I was kind of like you. And we talked about this the other day when, I wasn't on board with the pitch clock. You sit there because we resist change. That's human nature to resist change. Like you're going to throw the game off. Well, and it's had a bigger effect on the time of games than I thought it would. I always thought the pitch clock would take 5-10 minutes off a game. I'm like, that's not enough to move the needle. Oh, it's moved it a lot more. You see some games at 2 hours and 5 minutes. You're like, how did that happen? And I'd say most games are under 3 hours now, which is when you used to see 3.5, possibly 4 hour games. So I need to learn to start looking at giving things a chance before I automatically just go, oh, it's not going to work. Because then I'm on here going, It worked, and I was wrong. It worked.
Which, dude, again, we're wrong a lot. We're wrong a lot.
Okay, Big 12 Media Days continued yesterday in Frisco, Texas. And to me, there are conflicting messages coming out. We heard Brett Yormark talk about, the college football playoff, but then he kind of emphasized, hey, this is not the NFL. We are not professional. There's something unique about college football that makes it great. And then yesterday, Deion Sanders goes, well, we need a salary cap. We need to be more like the NFL. We need transparent contracts so everybody knows you're playing on a level playing field. So you got Deion Sanders saying we want rule changes that are similar to the NFL. He wants salary caps. He wants transparency. And then you got Brett Yormark going, well, we're not professional. Deion's polarizing, but I think Deion's closer to being right here than Brett Yormark is.
Not even close. One of them is right. One of them is not. We went through this yesterday. One of them's lying to you. Which one do you believe? What do your eyes tell you? If somebody's getting compensated, Brett Yormark's lied. We covered this yesterday. And I don't think he's doing it intentionally. He's just repeating the thing he's been told his entire life, and that the people in his position have repeated their entire life. It's their biggest weapon. It's one of their only weapons. We're different. We're different. We don't pay the guys. Well, now that you're paying the guys, what makes you different? We're different. It's the Office Space thing. I'm a people person. People like me. If Brett Yormark is convinced still that if they just say it loud enough, if they just say it, maybe it's the tone, maybe it's the repetition. If I just tell you over and over, we're not professional sports, you're going to believe it, and you'll start repeating it, and that'll make it more true. But the only way it starts is if I've got to believe it, and I've got to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And then you got somebody like Deion Sanders, who's, again, like Kristen Stepanski, he's seen behind the curtain, and Deion has no kings to bow to. All these other guys do. Most other coaches have to kiss the ring. They have to kiss the ring. It's NCAA. It's nonprofit. We do things the right way. We turn young men into great men. There's nothing like a college football locker room. What about the women's volleyball team? Oh, no. Yeah, that too. Yeah. There's nothing like a Division I locker room. Oh, so Division II and Division III. And no. It's college sports. They constantly move and goalpost. Constantly. To fit their narrative. Brett Yormark lied to you yesterday or 2 days ago. We played the clip yesterday saying, we're not professional sports. Guys, come on. We're not professional sports. Just will you listen to what I'm saying and then please repeat it? So everybody say it with me. We're not professional sports. We're not professional sports. And if they keep saying it over and over, other people repeat it. And then Deion Sanders stands up and says, hey, we need a salary cap in this thing that's not professional. In this thing where we don't pay the players, we need a salary cap. And then your brain freezes and goes, wait a minute. The guy that's in charge said they don't do that. Which do you trust? Your eyes and your ears and the news and the information that you actually have, or the dude who said something? Which do you trust?
I trust my eyes and my ears and my smells.
Yes.
And
good for you.
And Deion really didn't say anything that we haven't said over a course of time, and that is, I don't know if you need a salary cap, but I do believe you need transparency, because that's where things got awry. Is like, a guy would walk into, I'm just using Kirk Ferentz as an example, or Matt Campbell. Hey, such and such is offering me $2 million with no real knowledge to back that up. And, in the National Football League, the NBA, Major League Baseball, you can't do that. You know what the offers are, and then you accept what offers. And general managers go, yeah, I can't match that. 515-517-2303 is the number to call. When we come back, Bruno is going to be joining us It's a Thirsty Thursday on the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's 25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's 25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the wooden nickel program.
It's huge.
Hi, I'm John Linares, sales manager here at Willis Lexus, and it is summertime, and it's time to roll down the windows and enjoy that nice weather. For the first time in a long time, we have TX available in stock, and we are taking $1,500 off in stock models. And speaking of cash off, we've got $2,000 of lease cash on all ES models, and if you're looking to finance, we have rates as low as 3.79 on popular models like RX, NX, IS, and ES. I invite you to stop in and take a new one for a drive, or visit us online at willislexus.com.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Hi, I'm Sean McFarland, Service Manager at Mini of Des Moines. School is out and summer is here. Before you hit the road for your motoring adventures, visit us for your oil changes, get your AC checked out, or make sure your tires are roadworthy. Give us a call to schedule or visit us online at miniofdesmoines.com.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Ross, we got a bit of an announcement. I just got a text from Chris Conley. And during our interview with Kristen, you might have heard my email alert. Breaking news somewhat. It's getting out there because the email went out pretty quick. But coming to the Casey Center on October 14th, Paul McCartney is making his return to Des Moines. So Paul McCartney is coming to Des Moines on October 14th at the Casey Center. Pre-sale tickets and VIP packages starting on Tuesday, July 15th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Exclusive offers can include an amazing selection of reserved seat tickets, access to Paul McCartney's sound check, pre-show hospitality, and custom merchandise and more. So Paul McCartney, the most famous Beatle, right? He's the most famous Beatle. You were surprised a couple weeks ago when I went to Ringo Starr and he was still alive. But Paul McCartney's the most famous Beatle, and he's coming to the Casey Center. So thank you, Chris, for letting us know.
We get to interview him. Will we get to interview him?
Well, that's a good... Chris, if you're listening right now, we want to interview Paul McCartney. If you can get Paul McCartney...
Media availabilities?
I mean, he's going to need to promote the show.
Exactly.
Right?
Come on, we got to sell tickets.
Yeah, you got to sell tickets. You got to promote this show. And I think if you can line up an interview with Paul McCartney, that would be very much appreciated.
If you could ask Paul McCartney one question, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question.
I have a smart-ass one and I have a real one.
What's your smart-ass one?
The smart-ass one is, do you remember when you were in the Beatles?
What would be the real one?
The real one would be, did you like Yoko Ono? Tell me about Yoko. Would you be honest with me and tell me what was Yoko Ono like? Because that has never made any bit of sense to me ever. Have you ever seen the thing of her on the stage with Chuck Berry?
No.
Oh, dude. It's crazy. It's wild. It's wild.
I think my question would be probably more bland than yours because that's a good one. Mine would probably be, what's your favorite song you've ever written that wasn't a hit? Like,
that's a good question. Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if you talk to most singer-songwriters who've had a lot of hits that their favorite songs aren't their hits.
Or maybe even not even your own. What's your favorite song of all time?
Yeah. You get to put one on your iPhone and listen to it as you're driving down the street. What is that one song?
Most of us hate the sound of our own voice. How do you drive a car?
Speaking of hearing your own voice, I know he just heard his own voice during the break. Bruno joining us. Look at Ross, Bruno. Look at Ross because he's probably at a place you'd like to be right now, right?
Bruno knows.
Can't
hear you, buddy.
Can't hear you.
Oh no! He might have his microphone. Oh. No, not yet. Still can't, bud. Sorry. I can see. There it is. We heard you there.
Nope.
I thought I heard it turn on for a second. Maybe not. Yeah.
Can't hear you, Bruno. That's weird.
We'll see. I was gonna have. So I wanted to get if Bruno was able. I wanted to get Gary to come and be able to chat with Gary. I told him last night. There you are. I was muted.
I didn't mute you.
No, I'm serious. I was muted on the thing.
There you go. You unmuted it. Good job.
I need a new StreamYard link or something because all my equipment hasn't worked for 2 weeks. But
it's only not working for you. So
I know.
99% of the time when it comes to technology, it's user error. Just to let you know.
I know, and I don't know. I turned it on, turned it off. I plugged it in. I don't know. So I tried. But now you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. But anyway, I've been to Paul McCartney the last time he was here. It's awesome.
If you had one question to ask Paul McCartney, what would you ask him?
Who's your favorite Beatle? Well, my favorite Beatle is Harrison. So,
why is there a reason for it, or is that just a?
I like his songs better.
There he is. He wants to come say hi to Bruno. Is this okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Gary?
Yeah, Gary's going to come up and say hi to you.
On, bud.
Yeah, I got a copy, Hemingway. Copy.
Yeah. Hey, you read any good books lately?
I'm kind of on a weird, whacked out one right now. I don't think we can talk about it on this
You can
show.
talk about it. You can say whatever you want.
We're okay. Actually, I've been doing more penning myself. How about you, Hemingway? Where you been? What do you got? How's the beer biz?
Oh, it's okay. It could be better.
Okay, it's okay. Well, we tried some of your what was that old tavern last night. Yeah, I think maybe a couple of Ross's buddies might have had one too many, but I don't think it'll affect their fishing at all. What do you think? You've seen these guys in action before?
They're probably rectifying the hangover right now with various caffeine.
I think a couple of them would well, it's a combination of when you have the hangover and then you're piling the caffeine on in the morning. It's just that natural jigging motion that, catches the walleyes. Right. So today's probably going to be a bad day to be a walleye. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. You already got the palsy going.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we missed seeing you up here, man. It's been a great week so far, though. We've been chasing some big fish, catching quite a few walleyes, and obviously just having a lot of fun like we always do.
Lunch yesterday.
Well,
yeah, shore banger, big shore banger yesterday. You missed it, dude.
Last year you said this time of year is about the best time, and I've got half my month. I'm out of town this month, and we're building a new place, so we're remodeling our old Fongs. So got too much stuff going on.
I hear you.
It's not how it's supposed to go. The older you get, you're supposed to have less stuff to do.
Yeah, you're supposed to ease back. You're hitting your retirement years, Bruno. You're not supposed to be going.
I know, and it's aging me quick, I can tell you.
We had potentially all-time banger shore lunch yesterday, Bruno, that you missed. I'm just going to talk about that a little bit, where we didn't even have walleye. Okay, copy that. Like no walleye on the menu yesterday. We had some shrimp flown in from Mexico, first, and then that was all on ice, and we had Ruben the Ghost Gibbons there. So Ruben was prepping the shrimp, cooking the shrimp, and then the next thing I know, here comes the salmon that we'd also had trucked in from Alaska. So there was some Alaskan salmon, and then our buddy Ross here hooked us up with some tremendous meats from, where are those folks from?
Brookwood Farms.
Brookwood?
Brookwood Farms.
Brookwood Farms. Hooked us up with what kind of meat was that?
Oh, the Wagyu.
Wagyu.
Yeah.
We're out there whipping up Wagyu burgers, Hemingway. Anyway, it was all tremendous. We left there, a couple guys got the meat sweats. So, I mean, obviously you're eating a lot of meat all at once, and that's all we're doing. So we had to get a couple of them in the water right away just to get them cooled down. But you missed out on that, dude.
Yeah, we didn't have the Wagyu last year. We had the other two. We did some salmon and shrimp. But
wings.
Walleye.
Oh, yeah. And
Ross,
the world famous.
Rather have Wagyu or walleye?
What was that, Bruno?
I'd rather have walleye, but the Wagyu was the Wagyu burgers
Wagyu
they get were
That
fantastic.
doesn't make sense to maybe a lot of people, but
so we were
walleye all day.
We were having walleye for dinner last night. That's why we did that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, last night Miss Sherry worked her magic on the grilled and blackened walleye, which is always a crowd pleaser here at the BBI. So, all right, I got to get ready for the tournament, Bruno, but it was good talking to you, man. Good to see you. Hope all was well down there in God's country.
You bet. Set the hook.
And you take care of yourself. Yeah, set the hook.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
So I learned that today, Bruno, that your nickname up there is Hemingway. And we were thinking the next time you go up there, all you need to do is bring a manual typewriter, the old General Electric, Select, or that's even electric typewriter. You need one of those. You just start writing your sonnets and your books.
Well, it's actually the reverse of what you think. I just listen to a lot of books and not really join in all the banter. And Gary didn't like that. Gary wanted me engaged, part of the class. So,
if you can't tell, Gary's a million miles a minute, and he keeps that pace all day long on the lake.
Because he's constantly throwing in the choppers.
It's you got to stay on your toes you're on the boat, because he's going to come at you from one direction and then the next and then the other and then the fourth. He's like Michigan schools. He comes at you from all the directions.
All the directions, man.
You guys mentioned me being Hemingway and writing and all that, and so sometimes people do things that they never thought they would do. Sometimes they do things that to make some money, and sometimes they think outside the box. And here I got a story for you. There's the entrepreneurial spirit is alive and well in the Czech Republic. A mother, father, and adult son in the town in the Czech Republic have pleaded guilty for running a fake dental clinic in their home.
Hold on, a fake dental clinic? I'm going to the dentist today. Don't scare the hell out of me.
This is a nightmare.
A fake dental clinic. The Associated Press reported on June 19th. They face up to 8 years in prison for the ruse, during which the son would look up how to do procedures, including extractions, on the internet. The mother, a nurse, would assist, and the dad made prosthetic devices. They raked in about $185,000 before being caught, after the patient consulted another dentist about complications following the treatment.
That is a Stephen King horror movie. It really is. I mean, I have a dentist appointment at 11 o'clock today. I'm going to sit in the chair and go, Doc, are you a real dentist? I mean, I've been going to him for years, but now you just scared me.
You may ask him if you can take his license off the wall and check to see it's not just a photocopy or a whiteout. You know, maybe take a closer look at his credentials.
Am I the only one that's slightly impressed that they pulled it off as long as they did? I mean, to do one dental procedure without the person knowing that you're not a dental professional, you pulled it off. I can't.
I mean, it'd be one thing if they said, "Hey, we only do cleanings." You know.
Yeah. If they're shooting you up with Novocaine and extracting a tooth.
But you extract teeth, and the prosthetic device. He made prosthetic devices.
He probably thought, George Washington made his own teeth.
I mean, I've been in a doctor's office before and asked myself the question: does this person know any more than me? I mean, they're not
really.
Oh yeah. What I would do is we're going to prescribe you with a higher strength ibuprofen and some muscle relaxers. I don't know how many times I've been told that. I was like, yeah, well, I could have done that myself, but
I see what you're saying there. Okay, now I see what you were saying.
Yeah,
for a minute there, I understand that you were saying you don't necessarily.
I'm a little. What do you call it?
A skeptic.
Skeptic of sometimes when I go to not my current doctor, but when I have to go to one that in an emergency. I mean, it's always almost the same thing.
So what you're saying is you just should have Googled it and they would have told you to take Advil and you're good to go.
I've self-diagnosed myself this morning with diverticulitis, and it's starting to abate a little bit, but it was pretty rough when I got up.
IBS.
Well, it could be. It turns out it could be that or kidney stones. We'll see how the pain progresses. But I do feel a little off in the game today.
You notice the Old Tavern beer right behind Ross. I believe the Old Tavern's been a pretty big hit up there in Canada.
Yeah.
The Old Tavern is quite popular. I actually talked to John Martin yesterday and trying to find some plans to get it out there in the world. Of course, that's going to be one of the main ones we pitch at the Empire. Still bleeding out a little bit of information. The Empire will be the replacement for the old Fongs on 4th Street. We are getting a lot closer. We believe that sometime right after the fair will be opening, and I will get more details to tell everybody here soon. I also know that Steve didn't send out some stuff, but I had some things that I wanted to mention. The library, speaking of being on vacation, our draft beer is on vacation right now at the library. Our main cooler has been down for almost 10 days now. We are finding a way to stay open. We are working on fixing it, but it spurred new improvements. We're going to be working on getting a cement concrete pad out in front of the building, and we'll have 4 bike lockups, bike racks. We're going to fix our vestibule. We're going to fix our cooler. We're going to get a new cooler, and get some landscaping stuff done. And we're working with the Invest DSM Des Moines to help with that.
So,
and I just wanted to,
like, when a cooler goes down, is there an insurance policy for that or anything like that to where, hey, lost revenue?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's your business.
It can be, but it's just like everything is a high deductible, and you got to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Yeah.
It's not an act of God, And more times than not, you can make better money by not turning in a claim and just trying to stay open, And that's what's happened. We have a lot of refrigeration. We just have to order a little bit more. If it was any place that was a little bit bigger, we would have to do something. But we're gonna fix it right. We're gonna redo it completely, and it's the first time it's gone down entirely since we opened in 2012. So it's fine.
It happens. I mean,
I had a beer cooler went down at the bait shop or at the High Life recently. The bait shop cooler, the whole big cooler there went down recently too. It just there's a time stretch on them, and you just have to live through it, buy new, get the warranty, and keep going. Because once you get over 50% on your fixing, you're wasting your money on refrigeration. So
You mentioned that. Oh, go ahead.
No, just say what you're going to say.
Well, you mentioned earlier on when he was on that you're building 2 new places. You mentioned the one. What's the other one you're building?
Oh, I'm redoing. We're redoing the old Fongs, and then I am working with Single Speed to make some adjustments to Single Speed.
Okay.
I'm a partner there also, and a small partner. Mostly the land is my main focus there, but I have some ideas and working on doing that. When I was also at saw my buddies, my partners at Captain Roy's yesterday, and they were installing a new boat table with a glass top, and I'm just wherever I can help get stuff done, but it's just so many things getting a little overrun. But I will do find time. The Nash is going to be at the bait shop this Friday, so from 4:30 to 6:30. So stop on down. I know that's not this station, but they'll be live. The Nash will be live from the patio at the bait shop.
Danger's my buddy. That's all right. Yeah, I love Danger.
Yeah, and so that should be fun. I've gone to most of them, and we've been doing this so far all summer. So lots of fun there. The Des Moines Menace played their last regular season match this Saturday at Valley Stadium, and they've already won their league, so they're going to be in the playoffs. So if they win, it's always good to win. You get more home games, and yeah. We also talked about the Moonlight Classics coming up. If you haven't signed up, July 12th for the nighttime bike ride, the glow in the dark.
That's Sunday, right? Sunday.
Yeah, July 12th.
Do they make sure they fix all the potholes on the street so when you're doing the Moonlight ride, you don't? Do people Ross is like, have you guys had wrecks on this thing?
That's all part of the fun. You got to really be careful. You got to hold your beer out. You don't want to put it in a holder because if you hit a pothole, it'll spill. So,
and don't put your beer in your water bottle and put it in because it'll shake. And when you go to open the water bottle, it'll just like a champagne bottle. Yeah, blast you in the face. Bruno, I'm not going to phrase it exactly the way the listener did, but what can you tell us about the El Bait Shop High Life Lounge building? Because it's a much bigger footprint than just what El Bait Shop and High Life Lounge occupy. Is there any chance that you guys could? Have you ever thought about taking it? Is there any opportunity to take that over, or what are there plans for the rest of that building at all?
Oh, you're talking about the building next door?
Yeah, I thought they were all the same building. It's not. It's next
door.
No,
so there's a tall brick 3-story building to the south of us that was built first. Then the High Life was built against it. So one shared wall.
Okay.
In our restrooms, if you pulled the restroom walls down, you'd see old windows to the outside of the building.
Huh.
And then they built next to that 2 walls where the bait shop formed. A wall that went east and west, and then one on the far west side going north and south went into that next building too, forming those. We don't own or control the building to the north, although, I mean, just a public service announcement. The lady that owns it has people towed if they're not parked in the right part of the lot. Oh. Part of it's owned by the city. Part of it's owned by her. She tows people that, if they're not in the right spot, I would suggest not even parking in that parking lot to the south of us. Park on the street, park in our lot. But the stretch that's right on MLK is city owned, right up against on the grass towards the baseball stadium is city owned. But after that, you're running the chance of her towing you.
Is it well marked to at least say don't park here? I mean,
there's signs and stuff there, but people don't read signs. But
people think that it's like, well, they don't mean me.
Well, it's only me this one time. It's not like I'm going to park here daily, so it's just the one time. I really have to get to the thing I'm going to.
Yeah, the iCubs game. I'll only be there for 3 hours.
We got a 1-star Google review because somebody says we're obviously in cahoots with the the people running the parking lot. That all of a sudden, what a great business model. Trick people into coming into your bar and restaurant so that you can share in the towing fees of those customers. That is exactly the model it's taken me a long time to come up with this, but it is the best downward spiral business model I've ever conceive of.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I mean, but I would tell you, you get your car towed, you're almost turned into another person.
Oh, you're so 100%. You're pissed.
So mad you don't know what to do. And the folks that tow cars are so over it. I totally get why they're jerks about it too, because they've been yelled at so much. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna let you guys wrap this up. Okay. Yep. You don't need me here anymore. I'm gonna go fishing.
All right. Have fun today. We'll see you tomorrow. So, I got you, Bruno. He went out there. Have you ever had an employee get towed, or have you gotten towed yourself?
I've never been towed, but I've had employees. We had people it's like you tell them don't park there. They're like, oh yeah, I get it, and then they just park there, and then they get towed, and they're like really want to get mad at at everyone. I'm like, it says right there. I watched an older couple. They were getting their car towed. Both their cars at once, and one of the two had their medicines in the thing. They were stopping at the High Life, and they're like, "Sorry, nope," and they just drove it away. I mean, these tow companies, I get it, but man, it's it's not fun. Speaking of the parking lot at the bait shop, though, we are going to have Little Giant on October 4th. I want to make sure people start putting that in their calendar. Check there aren't any.
You don't need tickets to that. You can just walk up to that, right?
You just walk right up, and we have actually built it into the patio, like the beer. We don't have a beer truck like we used to. It's all self-contained. It's a lot of fun. All Iowa beers, small but mighty Iowa beers. That's always a fun one too. So wanted to mention that. Steve didn't give me that anything more this week, but I've been so busy on the Empire. I'm looking forward to that. I think we can say right after the fair we're going to open up, and I'll tell everybody here real soon what that's going to mean. What's that's going to be like.
All right, buddy. Go get some sleep. You need some sleep. You need to recharge. Go drink a Red Bull or something like that.
It's my diverticulitis. I don't think couldn't sleep very well.
All right, buddy. We'll see you next Thursday. All right.
All right. Take care. Nice to see you guys.
Bruno joining us on the Rush Radio Show. Speaking of the Rush Radio Show, if you're not wearing a Rush Radio shirt, wearing a Rush Radio hat, now is the time to do it. Go to therushradio.com. Click on the merch tab right at the top. Take you right to our merch store. You can get a coffee mug, get a sticker, get all sorts of cool stuff. It ships fast. It prints fast. It's going to be right to your door in like 6 or 8 business days. So you don't have to wait long after you make that order. Again, rushradio.com. Click on the merch tab, and we'll have new designs coming up shortly as well, because we're going to try to stay as current as we can. Want to thank Kristen Sapinski from IndyCar for joining us today, Bruno for joining us, and you for joining us. We know you have a choice in the morning. We're so happy that you picked the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. We're back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Have a great Thursday, everybody.
This is Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes. No artificial dyes and coconut water. Choose better. Body Armor.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
Are you thinking about buying a home this year? Start by getting pre-approved with Gary Presnall at Northwest Bank in Des Moines to see how much you can qualify for and what loan programs meet your needs. Gary can get you pre-approved in 30 minutes or less with a pre-approval letter to you. Gary offers first-time first-time homebuyers programs, VA loans along with FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Summer's here, and that can mean extra miles on your car. With road trips, summer activities, and more. Your Volvo will endure extra strain. Stop in now and get a vehicle inspection to make sure your Volvo is in the best shape possible. We'll even throw in $25 off an oil change. Give us a call or head online to willisvolvocars.com to get scheduled today.
Bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.